Thursday didn't really happen. Like that, we're just pretending that didn't happen.
I had a
yesterday, so nobody worry about
15-minute
it.
check-in at the doctor. Door to door, we're talking 30 minutes. It couldn't have gone quicker from a doctor meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and I just completely, this is the thing. It's not a big deal, but we're on this schedule. We do this thing at the same time every single day, And so, Brad, right now you've got something with your daughter in the morning, and so we have to record at a slightly different time. And I couldn't care less. I mean, I want to be super clear about that. I don't care when we do this, but if it doesn't happen like when it happens, like I forget about it. It's like I think probably just with like eating stuff or whatever. Like you're like, what did I have for breakfast? Oof. It's like, did I record First Ring Daily today?
Okay.
It's weird.
Well, we're here.
Yeah, here we are. Exciting.
It's there's a big court case going on. A lot of
Is there?
A lot of things coming up.
Gambino trials.
So what I did not realize as I was reading through and listening to some of this stuff late last night is that I will be shocked if this is actually resolved this week.
Right.
Because there's two things that have to happen. Either A, Microsoft has to prove so overwhelmingly that they are not a monopoly, there's no risk, it's whatever phrasing you want to use to get this approved. Or the other side is that FTC just has to prove that there's enough evidence that they need more time to gather their thoughts for August. If they can prove that, hey, there's enough meat here that we shouldn't let this go through, then the judge will be like, okay, we're just going to keep this on August as it originally was intended.
Yeah. I don't think the FTC can meet that bar, personally. But
I don't know. I think they might be able to.
I mean, if it's vague enough, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
like
so
if I don't know what the literal law is. Like, is it a reasonable doubt or is there reasonableness? I don't know.
Everyone jumps on these specific incidences, right? Redfall, Starfield, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently there's some Indiana Jones game coming that is now going to be Xbox only. I don't know if it was previously going to be everywhere. And you can be like, see? To which I would, if I was Brad Smith or whoever's in court, I would hold up the chart that says, here are the number of exclusives that Sony released during this time frame, and here are the number of exclusives that Nintendo released during this time frame. I don't see them here in court.
Right.
This is one of the things we can do. What? I just don't. But again, I think every complaint, including the exclusive one or the cloud gaming one or whatever, is easily resolved by remedies that Microsoft has already proposed and has agreed to in other jurisdictions, right? And to me, it's not complicated. But yes, you're right. Could a court rule that it is prudent to give more time to this? Yeah.
Yeah.
The FTC has had 18 months, Brad.
I know that is the other side
18 months.
Of it.
That's the thing. This last minute nonsense. I don't know. Whatever. My whole thing hasn't changed. The one thing I will add though is we talk about schedules and things. We talk about the end of Microsoft's fiscal year, which is June 30th, a week from today. And we talk about the deadline for this agreement where Microsoft has to pay some kind of a fee to Activision Blizzard, right? If it doesn't go through. Those dates are not the same date, right? So that date is actually sometime in July. I think it might be July 18th. I don't remember the exact date. Okay. And then you're saying that if the FTC gets what it wants, it can delay the next hearing until the end of August, which was the original schedule, right? I'm trying to understand how it's the end of June. They've had 18 months, literally. And you're telling me that like another month and a half is going to make the difference?
That is fair. That is a fair.
I'm sorry, but that's patently ridiculous. This is like, so the FTC has procrastinated and is now going to cost us whatever the amount. What is the amount? $3 billion?
I think it's $3 billion. $3 billion if they don't renegotiate.
Okay. So my argument there would be like, we're just going to sue the FTC for the $3 billion because they cost us this for no reason whatsoever, just because they were dragging their feet. And that's nonsense. And I just... Again, I know there are people out there that just don't want this to happen. Like, I get it. The big get bigger, et cetera, et cetera. But like I keep saying, there's just no logical justification for blocking this. The right response to this from the court should be, this is stupid. You've wasted our time. Just do whatever you want to do. And the more that comes out, and every day something comes out, it's astonishing how much comes out of this. There was the stuff about, Microsoft has lost the console wars, blah, blah, blah. There was a great exchange where it was like, the FTC thought that people would have to pay a Windows licensing fee.
Yes.
Every time they played a PC
yeah.
game. These people have no idea what they're talking about, and they're going to set the agenda somehow. That is,
The other fun
that's
little
troubling
tidbit that came out of this, accidentally, mind you, was that Microsoft typically has across the board, the relationship with publishers is a 70-30 revenue split.
Okay.
Unless the FTC, I think it was FTC lawyers, maybe it was I don't think it was Microsoft's lawyers, but one of the lawyers accidentally said, except for some publishers, they get 80-20, like if we think they're a really big deal. And so if you're I think that was Call of Duty. If you're one of the large publishers, like if you're EA and Ubisoft and you're not getting 80-20 and you just learn that, ruh-roh. Like you guys don't consider us a big partner?
It was Activision, which is a terrible company, by the way, is one of those companies that, hey, we're going to pull. This is what's amazing about this. Sony supposedly is afraid of this happening to Sony, which Sony executives we now know never thought was ever going to happen. Activision actually went to Microsoft at one point and said, hey, we're going to pull Call of Duty off the Xbox unless you give us a better revenue share.
Yep.
And in the words, I'm paraphrasing here, it's not in front of me, but in the words of whatever Microsoft executive, we did the right thing for the platform and we agreed to this blackmail, and to keep, because Call of Duty was that important. And, remember Microsoft and Activision had previously had a Call of Duty agreement of some kind where stuff would happen first on Xbox. That later went to Sony. And these days it's pretty much even. I think most DLC and stuff comes out across the board everywhere for whatever reason at the same time. But that was a big deal. And the Xbox 360 was kind of the first person shooter console for that generation. Call of Duty was a big deal. That's back when they had that arrangement. And they were getting a bigger revenue share because because of course they were, like seriously, I hear what you're saying. I from EA's perspective, is there an EA title that's as big as Call of Duty? It's
I don't know
not
if there's a
Battlefield.
single title, but I bet you could make the argument that between Madden, NBA 2K, and then their FIFA titles, like that, those three core titles. I guess you'd have to
EA. I don't know if anyone has a definitive list of the best-selling Xbox games of all time.
I mean, look at Grand Theft Auto could potentially fall into that. I mean,
okay. Yeah, but maybe those. So we can't assume anything here. They may, in fact, be getting that deal too. Who knows?
Yeah, that is true.
And by the way, if EA or whoever else is not getting the 80-20 split on their best-selling games, that's just bad negotiation on their part. I mean, it's not bad for Microsoft that's happening. It's bad for those companies. So they've kind of given away an EA bargaining chip that they used. I just don't. I don't know. This whole thing blows my mind. It blows my mind.
Phil Spencer will be on the stand today, so I'm sure some good stuff will come out.
Yeah. He's plain spoken as it is.
He's pretty straightforward.
I'm sure they're nervous about him on the stand.
Yeah.
Normally you would say to, I'm sure, well, I hope you would say as a lawyer, say, look, just be honest and don't give any additional information, but answer the questions and do that kind of thing. And with Phil Spencer, it's like, listen, you're always honest, but maybe really think about not giving any additional information, please. Because he's brutally honest. I mean,
he is, which is, I mean, you kind of have to be at that level, otherwise.
Well, no, but he's different from other people, right? I mean, I think what I mean by that is most upper level executives are kind of circumspect. Like they'll actually talk like they're on the stand. They won't give any additional information. Like it's like, here it is, I like that about him. I like the plain spoken nature of him. Laurent, by the way, pointed out this thing. I don't know if this will appear in one of his articles, but he was talking about this topic, and he said, let me see if I can find this. This is so excellent. He said when Microsoft launched xCloud, as we call it at the time, on mobile, they were talking about how this is where they were going to reach 3 billion gamers, right? This was like their mobile play. And now they admitted that it's mostly just used so people can check out games before downloading them on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Like we've created I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what the equivalent is. Like back in the day, you could walk into a Toys R Us and see stuff on the shelf.
They've
and,
recreated the little kiosk thing that you could go play.
You could plug in a cartridge and see if it was what you wanted or something. I don't know. That's amazing. I mean,
and that's why they canceled an xCloud only SKU. That's probably why they canceled that xCloud box that they previously announced.
That and the fact that honestly, who would want it? I mean, all you have to do is try xCloud or Xbox, what's it called, cloud gaming, and you kind of realize, like, depending on the type of game, especially like first-person shooters, are non-starter on this thing. Like, it's
RPGs are typically fine, but it's
it depends.
Like you're limiting yourself.
Yep, and that's the thing. You're limiting yourself, right? So I think making it a perk of Xbox Game Pass is smart. I honestly, I don't understand why it's not a perk of all levels of Xbox Game Pass, frankly.
Well, they just raised the prices, so maybe it will be one day.
Yeah. Interesting times.
It is. We'll see what comes out of today's little gala. And then what I don't know is when the ruling will actually happen. I'm guessing it will.
That's the thing. I know. It doesn't have it. I think there are 5 days of hearings or whatever. So assuming that's true, whatever day, it's a Wednesday or something, the last day of hearings concludes. It's like, it's not like someone's going to shuffle some papers and be like, all right, I've reached a decision.
But
again,
here it is.
For Microsoft, the important date is that July date, whatever, if it is the 18th, whatever the date is. So, that's 3 weeks away. So, or more than 3 weeks away. So
they'll probably drop the ruling the week of 4th of July when I am gone. That is.
Yes, of course. That's all right. It's okay, because tomorrow morning is Saturday, and I'll be sitting here at 9:00 wondering why you're not calling me on Teams anyway. So that's pretty much the way this week has gone.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the
Just
call is not coming from this side of the podcast.
Just call me.